What's up, y'all? It's another Breaking Bad boxing preview prediction here. This week, we have the rematch between Badou Jack and Norair, call him Noel, Mikaeljan. This fight was for the WBC World Cruiserweight title here. You have Mikaeljan. He's 27 wins, 12 of those wins coming by way of knockout, 3 losses. 35 years old, Orthodox fighter, fighting by way of Armenia, fighting the 42-year-old Sweden in Badou Jack. You have 29 wins, 17 by way of knockout, 3 losses, and 3 draws for Badou Jack. Their first fight was extremely close, a little bit controversial here. I'm going to go through my round-by-round scoring, and then I'm going to get into my fight notes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it and where I think the swing rounds were and a little bit about that here. So this fight is for the WBC Cruiserweight title here. It is in Los Angeles, so there's really going to be no home field advantage for either fighter. In the first fight, you had Noel fighting on short notice, which does change the fight plan for both fighters. Badou Jack, of course, had a fight for a different type of game plan, but Noel didn't maybe not have the conditioning and cardio base for a 12-round title fight in that exact moment. Even if he was training in camp, it wasn't the exact same of having a full fight camp for a 12-round title fight. Now, Badou Jack really did a good job at slowing down the fight later rounds, using his gritty and veteran tactics, working his way on the inside. One thing he really did against Noel that I really love too as well, before I even get into the tape study in the round for it, is anytime Noel would look for a way out with the referee, almost looking at the referee like, are you going to break us and stop us? He would make Noel pay, because Noel would drop his hands and completely leave his head out to be maybe not counter per se, but just hit off breaks when the referee he thought was going to step in and stop it. But he never allowed the referee to actually step in and stop it. And he would just smack him when he was just looking for something. So I really appreciated that by Badou Jack. I think a lot of gritty and veteran tactics worked in that fight that I'm not sure will work in this fight specifically if you have a full 12 rounds to download data and especially a full camp of conditioning to get off of those breaks and get off those clinch and minimize positions. Now, round by round scoring here, I have a lot of notes. I didn't realize how many notes I had for the round by round scoring, so I don't want to bore you guys with my round by round scoring, then all of my notes drowned in between. So the closest rounds in the fight, in my opinion, were round 1, close fight. In the 50-50 battles, I think Jack was losing, but I think he was holding the real estate, and it was the battle of the jabs here for you. Another close round was round 5 here, where I had Noel winning, but barely, even though I think he allowed Jack to land the back right hands. But the lead hand really kept Jack at bay at certain times. Round 10 too as well. Real blurred round. Noel was ineffective on the back foot. Jack was ineffective on the front foot, but was capitalizing on Noel when he was turning and looking for the referee on breaks and had the bigger moment on the inside. So I barely scored it to Jack. So ultimately how I had the first fight scored was 115 to 113 for Noel. So I actually had Noel Mikaeljan winning the first fight 7-5 on the short notice here for you. Those were the close swing rounds. I thought the clearest round of the fight realistically was round 4, in my opinion, where Noel beat Jack pillar to post, in my opinion. Now let's get into the actual fight notes and the actual fight tapes. The thing I like about Noel is off rips is he double up and triple up his jab. He uses it as a blinder, uses it as a piston. He really fights well off the jab, off the jousting, off the style of keeping you at bay, blinding you, and putting punches behind that blinder. Sneaky body work by Jack. He had a good straight right underneath Noel's jab, especially when Noel would hang it out too long. Noel had good feints and interesting level changes, consistently changing his level and his base. Active hands in the first round went to Noel. Little bit of shoe shine from Jack on the inside in round 3 and used his shoulder frame really well. Jack consistently entered with no setup, and you see him getting caught square with that multiple times. Last 15 seconds of round 2, he runs right into a right hand by Noel, possibly the biggest punch of the round by either fighter. Jack had too many moments of standing, holding his feet and shelling up, and then getting cracked by the left hook through the guard. Again, Noel loves to double up and triple up his jab, and it's just one of my favorite assets about him. And I think on a full camp, it's something that's going to carry on later into the fight because we saw him fighting pretty well in good motion while exhausted. Long right hand in round 3 by Noel pushes the hand again and pulls Jack into a nice 1-2. Nice little pull and counter. Jack may be the bigger puncher, even though he's naturally the smaller man, quote unquote, just because he's moving. He wasn't a natural cruiserweight in his whole career. So with that being said, I do think Badou Jack is the bigger puncher, and I think that, again, bodes well when it comes to time and when it comes to aging, because Noel does eat some shots. When Noel's pushing back, he's very effective, but sometimes he has also irresponsible entrances where he'll enter with his load hand, trusting his reaction time a little bit too much, and then eating clean shots by Badou Jack, especially the lead right hand. I'm sorry, the lead left hand. My apologies. Head movement patterns seemed to be a little bit too much where he would dip off to the right, and Badou Jack started catching it, and he actually caught him here in the 3rd round. Wow. Literally, there's a moment where he's dips off. Badou Jack loads it up and lands it right as his head's dipping off. Hook to the body and a long left hand followed up in the end of round 6 by Noel. I'd like to see that more in this next fight. The shovel right hooks to the body, followed up by the left hands up top, and even inversing them to the left hand to the body, following up with the right hands up top. Noel pops his jab early. His feet get stationary due to fatigue in this one. He was holding his shape well, but he was definitely gassed. Straight right to the bodies were gorgeous from Jack from the round 1 all the way to the end of the fight. He had a beautifully timed short hook in round 9 while on the inside did Badou Jack, and you could tell that Noel was a little bit hurt and stumbled by it. A large portion of it to me is how big is Badou Jack punching? It's pretty efficient on the inside, especially in the pocket, but how gassed was Noel, especially on the shorter camp? The inside fighting edge, I think, does go to Badou Jack. There was a great right hand landed by Noel as Jack entered flat in round 9, and then he continued to sit on his punches and punch through Jack's guard to end round 9. It was a really good way to put together his combinations even while tired, and even having his eyes up and seeing good eyes and seeing Jack enter with really nothing behind it. In the middle rounds, I felt Noel really won the battle most of these times. From range, he was doubling up the jab, picking off him from the jab. When they were battling for put positions, I think Noel was having a better time. When they were letting off in 50-50 exchanges, I think Jack had a little bit more success. Jack had a lot of good moments late, and he was definitely the heavier hitter of the fighter, especially from the closer range where there was no load up. I thought both fighters do a really good job of using their kinetic chain, not loading up too much on their punches. I do think Badou Jack has a great tendency of slowing these fights down, making them slow, making them gritty, making them grimy. Noel would hang a little bit too far over his base and commit to shots due to fatigue. See round 11 in the last 20 seconds, he's exhausted, but he gets turned and countered. In the clinch positions too as well, Jack would definitely pull Noel's head down and throw him into shots, definitely lead him into these small uppercuts and small blinder shots. Really good veteran tactics on the inside. And again, back to those clean shots that Noel would eat when he's looking for the ref to stop it. He can't do that in this next fight. So I think this rematch is definitely interesting because I thought the first fight was so close. And even in close fights in boxing, you can never count anyone out, especially not due to age. And now the fact that they both have 12 rounds of data to download, how do I think it goes? I think if Badou Jack enters a little bit more responsibly, gets on the inside, uses his shoulder frames, uses his clinch and minimize positions, also using his veteran tactics, clinching up top, dirty boxing, roughing him up on the inside and the body, I think Badou Jack has a good chance of winning this fight. But my thing is here is I think Noel is going to have a really good job at keeping it at long range, using his movements, his level feints, doubling up, tripling up his jab, blinding Badou Jack as he's trying to enter, especially as he's trying to enter irresponsibly. I think Noel Mikaeljan here, I thought he won the first fight here on short notice camp. Now he has a full camp with 12 rounds to download data. Give me Noel, quite frankly, here. I like Noel here to win this fight. I think it could go into the later rounds and win by decision. I'm not necessarily confident in either a knockout or a decision, either which way, but I am confident that Noel gets it done. Again, having 12 rounds of data to download, he understands what he needs to do. He needs to keep it at range, keep his back off the ropes, not get tied up in the center of the ring, double up, triple up his jab, land the right hand to follow up, land some good body work of his own to slow down Badou Jack himself, and really just win better minutes as the later rounds go on. Because quite frankly, in the first 5 rounds, he did a great job at getting a good solid lead on Badou Jack. And he just had to continue and build off of that if he had the cardio to do such. So I like Noel here. In fact, I really love Noel here in this spot. So with that being said, y'all, I would catch a good line before it gets too flop. With that, y'all, it's love, it's peace, it's chicken grease. See you guys next time.